Architectural Builders Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
To make recommendations going forward. Does that make sense?
The answer is no to the question. I got it. So these are not complicated pieces of hardware. It's basically, do you want standard duty or heavy duty?
Okay, I'll listen. Sorry.
Yeah. So standard duty or heavy duty. The next question is going to be, do you want surface mounted or concealed? Then the next question is going to be, what function? Is it hold open? Is it stop? Or is it a friction? And probably ignore friction. So hold open or just stop only. And then finally, it'll be, well, two final things. It'll be, how wide is the door? And what is the door hung on? What type of hanging hardware? We would have to know that. And once you know all those things, you get directly to the product that you need.
Okay, great. So a couple things. The first thing I can answer the question is it's a seaside door, so it's probably, and it's 2 1/4, so we'd probably want to go as commercial duty as possible. We're looking for a hold open function, and then I need to investigate further. I believe these were all hung on Rixson hinges, which I know complicates things. Like concealed hinges. But I could obviously get more information and then come back and call you guys. Would you mind explaining to me, I understand how the surface mounted door works. It works just like a commercial, like a bank door closer, where you can adjust the speed and the hold open function, all those things. But can you explain the concealed function? Is that something that gets actually like rabbited into the top of the door?
Yeah, there's no difference in functionality. Just one is concealed, meaning it's mortised into the door and the frame, and the other is surface mounted. Okay.
Great. And then there's some like easement in the mortise to allow for that arm to rotate through, or is there a minimum reveal between at the head of the door that's required for that stay to function?
Yes, to the former.
There's a minimum reveal.
No, the first part. The first part you said, is there an easement? There is. There's a mortise in the face of the door that you don't see when the door is closed.
Okay. Well, I need to get some more information. I really appreciate you guys picking up the phone, and it's nice to call people when they're like willing to answer questions. When you're learning this stuff, it's there's a lot. So appreciate you walking me through it, and we'll give you guys a call back.
I don't think you need any more information other than how wide is the door, and then really that's it. You've got it all sorted out.
Okay, let me pull up the drawing here that I have. So it looks like lounge door. I don't have a spec on the hinges. I have a 2 1/4 by 35 3/4 inch door. The rest of the house is kind of a satin brushed nickel.
Okay.
And I think the architect, I think they'd be interested in what is a concealed option and what is a surface mounted option.
Yeah. So it's all pretty easy stuff. If the door and frame if you can get the material mortised to the door and frame, that would be preferable because you don't see it and there's no potential for conflict with other hardware. But whoever is supplying the door and frame, you may want to ask if they can do that before you assume that they will, because a lot of people who make doors will prep for hinges and locks, but not more complicated hardware like overhead concealed stops. And you also mentioned Rixson hinges, so we'd have to know which pivot by Rixson it's hung on, because that will determine the templating, whether it's center hung or offset.
Okay, so with the hinge model, we can go ahead and determine and make some recommendations.
You would need to know that in terms of when you go to template the hardware on the door and frame. When you need to mortise it, you certainly have to know if it's center hung or offset. Unless, of course, you had a pocket hinge. Do you know the model number of the Rixson pivot that you have?
I don't. It's not in the drawing right now. Yeah, I don't have it in this drawing. Let me see if it's on any of the other doors. I don't want to make an assumption that the other doors have it. All right. So if I get the hinges, do I need the hinge to call for you to tell me where to look on your website, or I guess I'm looking for total just guidance here. And then I can make a recommendation to the guys that do all the.
Yeah. So what you want to start with is a description of the door and frame, the size, all of the dimensional properties about it. And anything about the door and frame that would impact all of your hardware. So you should have a description of the door and frame, then below it you should have a list of your hardware in the sequence that you would see in a normal hardware schedule. Hanging devices, closing devices, securing devices. All that should be listed. And those pieces that you don't have just yet part numbers for is what we'll work to fill in, such as this overhead stop or holder. And that's where you should start. And then you work with someone like me who can help fill in the details based on looking, scrutinizing the entire opening to make sure there is no conflict and that everything works harmoniously together. That's the way to go about this.
Okay, so if I was to visit the site, take a picture of the jam profile at the head, get a model number of the hinges, dimension the width of the door, thickness of the door, obviously the handing of the door, and the functionality of the stay that we're looking, and then get that all to you, then we can come up with some options. Sounds like, and I email that to you guys or call you with that information.
Oh yeah, email. It's under contact us in the upper right hand corner of the site. And it would be helpful to have whatever, so the architect, it's their primary, they're the initial point of contact in terms of creating a hardware set. So I would start with whatever the construction documents have called out. And then whatever the door manufacturer can provide you in terms of a drawing or cross sections, that would also be really important to have in there. So
I have some of that stuff, just missing information by the time I have the door builder's schedule without the hardware schedule on it for some reason. Only some of these doors okay. I can get all that information to you guys, so I have a little bit more research to do before I get back to you.
My name is Richard. Thank you very much.
Richard, thank you very much. My name is...
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.